It's a good day. I'm excited. Something just arrived. You can probably tell how excited I am. Where'd my screwdriver go? The engine is here. The box is here. It looks great. Delivery dude was awesome. He pulled it right into my garage for me. Said he didn't have to do that. Usually just drop it off on the sidewalk and that's it. But they did great. So yeah. Here's what we got. This big old IAG box. First things first, taking it apart, you're gonna use these multi-tip. I can't even think of the name right now. I'm so excited. There's 4 screws. It uses a T20 bit that I put in here, and there's 4 of them along the edges. So let me pull this stuff off. Set this down, and this is the first time seeing inside. Whew. That's that looks so small in that big old box. That's interesting. Yes. That a little old cutesy engine in this giant box. That is awesome, IAG. Wow. That wood smells good. That's some fresh wood. I'm keeping it in the box. That's awesome. They packed it like that. I'm assuming they could have made the box smaller and fitted everything in there, but you know, there's always accidents and stuff, and this amount of room here, it's a good foot or so, gives the engine some extra protection from the outside elements if something does happen. But here we go. Where is I don't see the pamphlet thing here. Maybe it's on the bottom or inside somewhere. Is the engine... Okay, I see some zip strips down there. Obviously this thing's gonna be right to it. I wonder if there's bolts. It says bolt to bolt here, so I'm going to assume that down here, oh, there they go. I don't know if you can see, there's 2 bolts down there on this side and 2 bolts on this side. So you gotta take those bolts out for the engine to come out. So I'll get to that part and come back. Alright, so next step. Looks a little different from last time. I didn't do too much. I just took those 4 bolts out from the bottom, and that made everything loose. And then I very carefully took the engine, and obviously it's tilted sideways, but I slid it towards this wall. And then I took two pieces of wood. You can see one of them sticking out, the other one's a little bit smaller. And I put it where the oil pan would go, because the surface is flat. You have to be careful because your exhaust bolts stick out, so your wood has to be longer than the exhaust bolts. And then I took a thick piece of foam and I laid it on top of the wood, and I slowly tilted the box sideways, and obviously it just sat on the wood and it came down. So that's pretty simple. Next step is you need to get it on a engine stand. But first you gotta get it on here, unless you have a bunch of weightlifters around you that can lift it up. But you're gonna get it on the engine hoist to put it on the engine stand. So to do that, you need to put in the AC/alternator bracket. It's just 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3 in the back. I'm not tightening them down or torquing them. I don't know, people may yell at me for doing it or not doing it, whatever, but it's there. And then you have your intercooler, top mount intercooler bracket. So obviously most people at this point will get rid of this, they don't need them more, but I kept mine around, and luckily I did, because you got this triangle and this little triangle that will be your jack points. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this lifted out slowly and go from there. Well, there she is in all her silvery beauty, silvery aluminum to be perfect. Yeah, so wasn't that bad. I lifted the engine, I got it to the floor. I got to the point where that was an issue as far as getting the engine off, because like the feet from the hoist stick, and obviously the can't even speak. The hoist doesn't go far enough in to catch the motor. And I'm sorry I couldn't record it, but I mean, you'll get the idea. So the legs stick out too far. You can't give the little pickup claw deep enough in. So I basically had to work to get to get the engine out of the box here, turn the engine sideways, not long ways obviously, and it fit in between those legs of the hoist, and then I was able to hoist it up simply enough. And then like I said, I installed those two brackets and put on the jack stand. I did it myself, didn't really hurt myself. I actually have a bad back right now. That sounds like I'm old. I pulled a muscle in my back, something anybody could do, and I'm still recovering. So it's doable. So let's look this over, because again, this is all new to me. I'm excited for this, right? For the people that haven't seen it. So there's a typical sticker, IAG 900. First things I noticed right off the bat, you start looking in these holes here. Do I have my flashlight? I have my flashlight somewhere on here, but you get the gist of it. These holes, man, they're nice and ported and clean. This centerpiece here, that thing is so sharp. I mean, it would cut your finger. So that's really nice. Like, that's really ported out really well. You can see those new GCS valves in there. Same thing over here. Really clean. Like, the air is just gonna flow. Like, I'm so excited for that. Yeah, you can look at all these little galleys here and stuff like that, and you can see where the CNC machine went in and cleaned everything up. There's the inside of this here. This is a rough outside. I don't know what this is. I don't know, the camera's being weird either. I don't know if this is just the way Subaru's coating went. I would like to powder coat these, but if you look at all the bolts here, IAG has marked them. It doesn't look like they marked them from a tamper setup like they did with the pump or the oil pump. I think they just went through and checked all the bolts to make sure they're tightened. I don't want to take anything apart. I want to document this the best I can. I want to show IAG goodness. I don't want to mess with their construction. I trust that everything's put together. But it's looking good. Like, all Subaru parts are coming on it. Everything is closed up for the most part. They included all the different little plugs, which I was worried about, so I saved all mine. So all the little plugs are included. Some of the gaskets, obviously, they were exposed. I didn't expect them to include those, and they didn't, which is fine. They did include the cam seals, so I kind of expected that, but just in case I ordered more. So that's something I didn't expect that I had to order, but that's fine. Everything else looks good. I mean, it's a motor. I'm excited. All right, I flipped it over really quick. Let's take a look. And these exhaust ports, yeah, same thing. These things are, you can see they've been decked right here, cleaned up. Maybe that's the way Subaru did it. I haven't seen a brand new Subaru, so excuse me for that. But you can see right in there, same thing. Those are really ported out, really nice. There's lots of smoothness and cleanness in there. Gosh, I'm so excited. Let's check this side. Yep, you can see all the assembly lube and stuff in there. Yes, this engine will not be exposed. I know I'm in my garage. This is like doing some bad stuff here. You don't want this exposed, and don't worry, it will not be right now. I'm just looking at it, checking things over, and I'll start putting stuff on. I kept the bag the best I could, and every time I'm done, I'm going to close it up. But right now it's pretty dead and calm, so I'm not too worried. I did see a little dent right here. You guys can really see that. Probably gonna be all. I was like, it was kind of kinked or bent, meaning whatever sits here is it's upside down. So not too worried about it. Shit happens, right? It was a little thing. Yeah, you can see where it was kind of scraped right here on some of the molding. Whatever. I'm not blaming anybody for that. Damn, that's I don't know if you guys can see that gasket, that head gasket in there. That's a thick boy. That's a nice thick head gasket. Sweet. Everything is good here. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on this guy. Sorry. We got the regular STI nitrated crank. We got some fancy, I think there's a IAG spec or something like that rods. Looks like H-beams. I always get those mixed up because I'm still new. You can see the H there, so I think they're I-beams, H-beams. I don't know. I'm looking at it backwards. Cool. Everything's looking good. These are the V25s. Sorry, what am I talking about? Yeah, the V25s here on the heads. So they do give you the V25 heads, which are on the newer 2007 single AVCS. All right, I mean that's. I can't do too much. Oh, my camera switched. Hold on, guys. I don't want this FPS to mess up. So I can't do too much right now. I can start putting small things on here and there, checking things over. I still have some of the parts coming in. I honestly did not expect the motor to come in till this weekend or maybe next week. So I was waiting for some of the other parts to come in, which is fine. But I can start over the basics that I can do, and we'll go from there. My plan is to document it as much as I can, mostly for myself, IEG's warranty purpose, and then obviously for you guys. I say warranty purposes, but in case they ask questions, I can say, hey, this is what I did, right or wrong, but this is what I did. I don't plan on having an issue, but just documentation for it, and learning. If I do something wrong, people can yell at me for it. That's the cool thing, I want to take this kind of slow, or in a sense slow enough to where if I do something wrong, people can yell at me and I can figure it out. So all right, so I'll probably just sit on it for now until the rest of the parts come in for another day or two, and then we'll pick up. I'll take you guys later.